a subway train slowly rolled into a funeral hall for the dead. But this wasn't an ordinary train, it carried souls to their final destinations, heaven or hell. Inside, the passengers, all deceased, were quietly praying. They knew the rules. Once the train crossed the bridge of no return, the next stop would be hell. Anyone who had done terrible things in life would be pulled off there to face eternal punishment. Aunt Hai knew she wasn't destined for heaven. Her hands trembled. Her heart pounded. The train rattled into a dark, eerie landscape. When it stopped, long, shadowy arms reached through the windows. Panic spread through the car. The doors slid open. Aunt Hai, ready to accept her fate, tried to stand, but her body wouldn't move. That's when she realized the damned didn't choose to leave. A mysterious force would drag them off, no matter how they resisted. One by one, the guilty were pulled away. The doors closed, but Aunt Hai was still inside. She couldn't believe it, she was going to heaven. In life, Aunt Hai had been a loan shark. People hated her. She collected daily interest without fail. But what they didn't see was what happened when she went home. Before stepping inside, she would rinse her mouth with white liquor, disinfect herself with alcohol, washing away the curses and insults from the day. She didn't want to bring that bitterness to her bedridden husband, Gao Lijuan, who had been paralyzed for 60 years. For decades, Aunt Hai cared for him tenderly. They were still loving, still gentle with each other after all that time. To Lijuan, Hai was an angel, the one who had rescued him from an abusive father and a starving childhood. Lijuan would often say, "You were beautiful at 20, and you're beautiful now." Those words could clear every dark cloud from Hai's heart. But one day, Hai came home and scolded her husband for pretending to be dead again. Only, this time, it wasn't a game. Lijuan had truly passed away. After that, Hai's world dimmed. She stopped taking her medicine. Even when a friend tried to set her up with someone new, she refused. Deep down, she knew she was getting ready to leave, too. It wasn't long before Hai passed away. At her funeral, a strange man appeared and summoned Hai's soul. That's how she ended up on the subway to the afterlife. Despite her work as a loan shark, Hai's heart had been kind. She was welcomed into heaven. At the golden gates, an angel confirmed her name, then asked, "Who do you wish to live with here? If the other person doesn't choose you, you can't be together." Hai's first question, "Is Gao Lijuan here?" "Yes." The angel smiled, "And he chose you." Hai's joy overflowed. Then came another question, "What age would you like to be in heaven?" Most choose 20 to 25, when they were most beautiful. But Hai remembered her husband's words, that she was most beautiful now. So she chose her current age. The angel was stunned, but honored her choice. An attendant woke her and said, "Just follow your heart. It will lead you to him." Hai's pulse quickened. She hurried forward, but her 80-year-old knees nearly gave out. Still, she pressed on, until she reached Lijuan's door. When it opened, Hai froze. The man before her was young and handsome again. But even in a new body, she knew it was him. In heaven, you could choose any age to live in forever. Most people picked their prime years, 20, maybe 25. But Aunt Hai had chosen to be 80. So when she saw her husband, Gao Lijuan, standing young and handsome again, she nearly fainted. Lijuan, overjoyed to be reunited, wasted no time. He wanted to show Hai their big bed and scoop her up like in the old days. Only, her frail 80-year-old body was too heavy to lift. Embarrassed, Hai stepped outside to breathe. That's when she noticed everyone around her in heaven was young. She felt completely out of place. Worse still, she kept catching sight of a girl in black watching her. The gaze was strange, half familiar, half unsettling. Maybe she was an enemy from her loan shark days. There had been plenty. That night, Hai slept in a separate bed. Lijuan thought maybe she didn't want to be close anymore. But Hai remembered their conversation in life. Lijuan had once told her, "You're most beautiful right now." That's why she'd chosen this age. Foolish, maybe, but it had made her happy. The next day, Lijuan took Hai to the Heaven Residence Center to register. There, Hai met a sweet little girl, but her voice sounded like a woman her own age. It turned out she was here because of a wish from her past life. When she was gravely ill on Earth, her mother-in-law had cared for her like her own child. Grateful, she had told her, "If there's a next life, please, be my daughter, so I can take care of you." Now, that wish had come true. Hai was touched. But then, there was that black-clad girl again. And just as quickly as she appeared, she vanished. Life in heaven went on. One day, Hai followed a group of people her own apparent age, thinking she'd finally found peers. But the group turned out to be dogs. Souls who had been waiting in heaven for their beloved owners, finally reunited. They leapt into their humans' arms, tails wagging furiously. Later, the black-clad girl reappeared. She knocked over a bottle of water, just like a cat Hai had once owned. Her mannerisms, her aloof tilt of the head, it was uncanny. She even asked, bluntly, "Why do you look so old? Do you really want to spend eternity like this?" The word stung. When Lijuan found Hai again, she was crying. She admitted she wanted to be young once more. They went to the Heaven Administration office to ask for a change, but the angel said no.
Lejuan protested. If Hai couldn't be made young, could they at least make him old, so they'd match? To their shock, the angel said that might actually be possible. Lejuan, unwilling to see Hai upset, agreed to age himself. Hai, however, stopped him through tears. She had fallen for his youthful charm long ago, and she still loved that face. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Inai, the woman who had been like family to Hai, wandered into a shady shop claiming to speak to the dead. A fake which told her Hai was still stuck on the road to the afterlife because she worried about her. Inai broke down in tears, then made a terrible decision. She would take her own life, to follow her there. Back in heaven, Lejuan was preparing a surprise for Hai. But when Hai returned home, she found a woman there. The moment the stranger saw Lejuan, she ran straight into his arms. Hai froze, then her jealousy erupted. She grabbed the woman's head, then clamped onto Lejuan's leg. She wasn't about to let go.